Hey guys, this is the first episode of This Indie Life new version. The first year of This Indie Life, I was with James and we were sharing our indie journey. And eventually, we noticed that one of the content that resonated the most with you guys is when we talked about the deep stuff. The most successful episode we had is when I talked about how I burnt out with my startup and then how it led me to divorce my wife. And after talking with other founders, I noticed a lot of us just need this type of content. Like, we're so fucking tired of just seeing, oh yeah, I just made $10,000 this month. Oh yeah, I'm so successful. Everybody only talks about success. And the problem is, it feels kind of depressing. Because like when you open social media and only see success, at least for me, I start to feel like a failure real fast. So that's why I decided that now this podcast will be focusing on the dark side of entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about the difficult bits that are not often shared on social media. And so for that, I've started lining up guests from the community to talk about what they usually don't talk about. And for this first time, with my very first guest, I'm going to be with Nico Janin. Nico started going indie about 7 years ago. And since then, he went through a lot of ups and downs. A couple years ago, he found his first major success with a SaaS, and in 3 months, he made 20K from it. Then he exited and sold it for 60K. So he basically made 80K in 3 months. But the interesting bit is that despite this success, and he now has another app that makes 4K a month, he is still full of anxiety. He has trouble sleeping. He is struggling to maintain his relationship with his girlfriend, and he lost his physical fitness because he cannot work out because he spent so long working on his startup. So I thought that was a very interesting person to have as a guest because it shows us that even though this guy has like lots of followers, looks successful like many of us on social media, well, behind the scenes, it's not the easiest, it's not smooth sailings. And, he is, like everyone else, full of doubt and anxiety about all this. I'm going to play the recording now, but before that, I just wanted to give you a heads up, is that it's my very first time, like ever, interviewing someone. So the first 10 or 20 minutes aren't going to be like the most smooth. I'm not really sure where we're going. I have trouble bringing up the questions I wanted to talk about, but eventually we found a good rhythm. Eventually I kind of like found like my pace as an interviewer, and we started having a better connection with Nico. And then we really talk about the deep stuff. So I think you're going to really appreciate it. I really hope you do. Please leave your comments under the tweet or send them to me on my Twitter account. Also, in this episode, we're going to have our first sponsor. And I didn't want to do it like the usual way, where I just talk about the bullet points that some company gave me or anything. And I try to bring it up naturally in the conversation. So during the recording, at some point, I will mention that I talk about a sponsor, but I really try to make it as authentic and genuine as I can. So I hope you can actually listen to it and then let me know, did it feel weird? Did it feel off? Because I really want to make something that is both valuable for the sponsor that paid for the spot, but also for you guys that you don't want to skip it and you actually find the story that I told interesting. We are building this podcast in public, and my goal is to make a podcast where we can really be honest with each other, realize that we're all in this together. Nobody's like above everyone else, like having all figured it out. We're all struggling, all in doubt, all having ups and downs. And I want us to have this podcast as a way to every week talk about this kind of stuff. And I hope you enjoy it. So this is the first time doing an interview on this podcast, man. Like we spent the past 5 minutes trying to fix your AC because it was like sound, because like there's like a background noise. But I thought, let's keep it because like it's really the indie life. Like it's about being a nomad sometimes. So like, can you tell us a bit more like where are you, like what's happening?
Yeah, so right now I'm in Bangkok. So I need to have AC, otherwise I will be sweating like if I just walked out. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the downside of living in Southeast Asia is that it gets very hot.
I'm just gonna jump straight into it.
You don't
Can
worry.
you tell us a bit more, like, just very quickly, what are you like? Who are you, and like what are you doing?
Damn, that's always a tough one. I'm Nico, I make apps.
That's perfect. Yeah, you're Nico. You make apps, and one day you did one about logo design, and you were kind enough to send me, because my startup used to do, like, my past startup was doing logos, and you were kind enough to send me a DM and be like, hey, I'm gonna do logo. I hope like it's okay with you or something. So do you remember that?
Yeah, actually, that's funny because so when I was doing this project, I wrote everything in real time, and I wrote in the blog post.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like, man, I really hope that Dago won't be mad at me. Like it's actually written in the blog post. It's
But
yeah.
that's very interesting. Like, because, well, first of all, I think this could have been a good strategy for you to make me mad. Like, it could have been a good way to, I don't know, like, I probably like would have figured out that that was a strategy, so I wouldn't have done anything. But like making someone mad is like a legit strategy to get engagement, so that could have worked.
Mm.
But um, yeah, no, the other thing about competition, like very interesting, is like you made way more money in terms of like how quick you made money than we did. How much did you make? Like how
So with just the app itself, I think it was 20,000 in 3 months.
yeah. Yeah, in three
And then
months, yeah.
after I sold it, so then it was a lot, but not directly like from the actual
Yeah. You
logos.
sold it like for like 60K or something.
65, yeah.
So like 85 in
Yeah.
3 months. And like I think we didn't make 85 in 5 years, you know. So that's like
Damn.
a
Yeah.
fucking lesson, man. The mistake we did is we went after a market that is like doesn't have much money, and like we went at it with like highest quality, like every logo is designed by hand. We thought, oh yeah, we're gonna kill the market with this. But that was just like completely like not what people expected. So like very few people really appreciated the quality, and so it's like it was kind of like useless, you know.
Mm.
And you came in, if I remember correctly, you used like AI and like some of the image generator AI tools at the time, like basically create like dozens of logos instantly, and people just pay, and you don't even promise the results. You just like, yeah, you pay and you get the generated
Yeah.
results, and
Yeah.
like and that's what people wanted, at that price point and in this market. So that's like such a lesson, man. And like you spent basically 20 times less than us, and you made about the same money. And so like you know. So now you're doing talk notes. And so how did you came about doing that?
I had the idea a bit before because I wanted to make like I don't know, I wanted to write like a post on Google Docs and they had like a transcriber. So I was just like testing it and it was really like really bad. So I was like, okay, I guess I can probably do something like that. I'm not the only one who is too lazy to write. So I know you can,
Hmm.
that there are some apps that use Whisper to make transcript and stuff like that. I was like, okay, I'm just going to make something. You record yourself and it give you like a transcript or like a summarized version, stuff like that. And I think I did for this one, I think 1 week. Yeah, I launched the app in 1 week and then I launched on Twitter, Product Hunt, etc., etc.
Hmm. It's like your most successful app now, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, and you launched it in 1 week. Well, that's impressive. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have to do a lot of work since then to kind of like improve it, or like was like the basic version already pretty good enough?
I mean, that's pretty much my full time. I'm full time on it since pretty much since I launched. Um, like sometimes I don't work for 2 weeks, 3 weeks or something, and
Yeah.
it's still fine. But whenever there's things to do, it's like mainly most of the day I'm thinking, okay, how can I grow that? So yeah, there were lots of work. I'm pretty much working nonstop
Do
in
you
full
have a
time.
lot of like support and shit to do?
Yeah, like
Like the boring
I
stuff like
haven't.
support, accounting and all that.
So accounting, I, I don't do that. Like technically, LLC in the US, you don't really need accounting, so I don't bother with that. But yes, support. Oh man, I fucking hate that. It's just way for me to hate a day is to open my Gmail account, see tons of emails, which I
Oh
think is the
yeah.
case right now. So I don't open the mailbox. It's I don't have support if I don't see the emails.
But like how are people reacting if you don't respond to the emails? That doesn't sound good.
I, I mean, I do it eventually. It's just like when I have to focus on some stuff, I cannot do multiple things. So,
Yeah, you do
and
one
then
day
after
of support maybe, or so like you do like a couple hours, like you schedule it like time for support. Okay, cool.
yeah.
So, I really want us to get into like the deep, like the darkest things now. I want to talk about the fact that you lost sleep. I want to talk about your love life. I want to talk about your fitness that you kind of lost since working on startup, like all these things you told me about. I feel like that's really the interesting stuff. But
Hmm.
before that, I'm making an experiment is that
Hmm.
for the first time, we're taking sponsors. And
Oh,
I
nice.
didn't want to do like a normal thing where like you have sponsors and you just say the bullet points of whatever the guy wants you to say. And I was waiting for a moment in the conversation where it would make sense to talk about this sponsor, but like with my own
Hmm.
words. So,
Yeah,
and
it's
like
good.
at some point you said that you created an LLC, and this is not
Mhm.
staged by the way, because like it's gonna sound so perfect, but like you created an LLC in the US. How did you do that?
I just went on an agent online. Creating the LLC was pretty simple, but then I had to do like calls and shit like that for the. You need some
Okay,
numbers like to open a bank account, so it was
yeah, yeah.
a bit annoying.
Why did you do that though? Because like I'm curious, like because like you're a French citizen now, you live
But
in Southeast Asia. Why, how, and why did you do that?
I think the same reason as every French people leave France and open
Yeah,
a
I
company
have.
abroad. Uh,
Yeah.
taxes and administration is just a nightmare there. I don't want to deal with that. So if you are in all the maximum brackets, you can be taxed up until like 65%. Like from what your company make to your own pocket personally, including all the taxes,
Yeah.
then you can lose up to like 65,000 with VAT and all the stuff, like
Oh
absolute
yeah. If
nightmare.
that's interesting you say that because I think that's one of the reasons I burnt out last time is that, you go on X or like social media and you see all these people. Yeah, I made like, you know, 5K this month and like, but like when I was making 5K and I was with my wife, so like there was two of us, it's not enough to do anything. We needed to make
Yeah.
basically 10K to just like survive.
Mhm.
Like especially when you're indie, like small projects that are not going to bring a lot of money. I mean, that's like a game changer. I live in France. I'm happy like with the system. I think like there's like downsides, upsides, depending on like where you go. So I'm fine with it. But like I get you. Like it's so much easier. Like in a way, like you're just like removing a huge, hurdle. And so the sponsor of this week is a friend of mine, and he created something called Better Legal, which does exactly basically
Mhm.
what you did. When you want to open like a company in the US, like depending on the state that you are in, like the forms are different. Like everything is different per state. And so what he does is like you can just like fill his thing online and you can open in any state. It doesn't matter. He's just gonna take care of it for you. So
Mhm.
like very and quite inexpensive. So I think if I was doing that, it would be a no-brainer to use his service, and especially since I know him and I know how like if there's a problem, I know he's gonna take care of it. Like I know he's very, solid. So but like the story of his company, man, is like he created that years ago with a co-founder. And I need to invite him to talk about this actually, but like and like the co-founder, I think, basically stopped working after a couple months or like 1 year, and he has like 50% or
Yeah.
so, like a huge like real co-founder.
Mhm.
And like but like the way they had done the terms, there's nothing he can do about it. He's been basically growing and hustling for this company for years, but like he only has half of it, and like, he's alone on it.
Oh, damn.
That is
Ah.
so fucking brutal. Like, man, that is the dark side of the indie journey. So,
Mhm.
so just to end this segment, like, yeah, go check out his website, betterlegal.com. You can also find him on Twitter. I'm gonna find his handle real quick.
Yeah. I
Uh
think I saw him on Twitter definitely because the name is very familiar.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean his name is
But
Chad. What kind of name is that? Like
it's
such a,
yeah.
like it's like a meme
Yeah.
name. So yeah, it's Chad Sakonchik. So CS Akon on Twitter. Again, awesome dude. Yeah, he brought his company to like millions in revenue, but like he's basically alone with a co-founder who's not doing anything. So, congrats to you, man. And yeah, that was my first try of like talking about a sponsor. Seems a bit weird, but I think it's genuine. We'll see. I will actually send this to Chad to see if he likes it or not.
Yeah, no, it's like it's a good sponsorship, like because I think lots of indies are not cannot really open a company in their country because to get international payment and stuff. So if you open a company in the US, you can have the US Stripe account and just make everything easier. So it's just it matches.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, for the US Stripe account.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what you mean is like if you're a digital nomad and you're gonna live in like countries where like it's difficult to get a Stripe account, like Southeast Asia, then opening a company in the US way better.
I think the two options are either Singapore or US, but Singapore is like really expensive. It's good when you really scale and stuff, but US is really good when you start. I think most people do that when starting out. So that's
awesome.
On point, I think.
Yeah,
Perfect audience.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Chad, for sponsoring. If you guys want to do that to open a company in the US because you're nomading, go to betterlegal.com. It's solid. So yeah. Now let's talk about the interesting stuff. Like what's on top of your mind when I talk about, some shit that you went through since you went indie, like,
I think the biggest, like the hardest thing is lack of like certitude. You don't know what's going to happen in, 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years.
Even tomorrow, like maybe like
Yeah.
OpenAI does something and makes your product obsolete tomorrow. Like it can so quick.
Yeah. Especially like when you do like AI stuff, it's fucking insane. Yeah. It's just, I think
the stress will be crazy. Yeah.
Everyone who make AI apps and stuff like that, I think feels the same. It's just you feel so much of like FOMO that you cannot like, oh, okay, it's okay, I take some time, it's nothing is going to change, because it's not true. Like in 1 month, maybe you have as you said, OpenAI release your app. Like everyone who was doing copywriting apps, everyone who was doing chatbots and stuff like that, you get wiped out in like 1 day with one Twitter post from OpenAI.
I keep thinking about Stack Overflow, man. I keep thinking about them because like this was the go-to place for everyone for more than 10 years. Out of nowhere, at first it was GitHub Copilot and then it was ChatGPT that really fucked them. And they're just like falling down and it's just like dying like quickly. It's just like some people get cancer and then out of nowhere and then, you die quickly. Like it's terrible and it's like out of nowhere. They definitely had product market fit. They definitely had like everything and boom, fuck you. It's over.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm in Google Trends and like it's growing since, 2004 and then like 2022, man, that's crazy.
And it's over. Like it's fucking over.
To nothing.
Like, how does it impact you, man? Like this uncertainty.
I just cannot stop. I cannot take breaks. Like I have a really hard time taking breaks. I managed to do it when my girlfriend was here. I still worked, but I was a bit more taking time off and stuff. But man, it's so fucking hard. The problem in general is not like lack of certainty. It's more like the time is passing, I started entrepreneurship 7 years ago, and I was a prick. I was arrogant. I was like, yeah, I'm smarter. I'm going to make it in a year or two or something.
Yeah, same here.
It's 7 years. It's been 7 fucking years. Everyone think, oh yeah, I'm smarter. I'm smarter than those guys and stuff.
That's why we leave the job. That's why we take the risk, because we've seen all the success stories and we think, I'm going to be one of them.
Yeah. And the thing, like you get delusional very quickly. You get humbled down. And so for me, it's been 7 years and I don't want to spend my whole life doing that. It's like, I want to, to build something nice. Then I want to cash out, make a big exit, and then be like retired, sort of like retired, not as I'm not doing anything, but as I don't have this thing,
How old are you now?
26.
26?
Yeah.
Okay, wow, you're fucking young. Cool. And so you plan to retire like when?
So ideally, I would like to have like at least 1 million in the bank by 30. That was always my goal. I want to be like a millionaire by 30. I think I I would be so fucking depressed if I cannot reach that. And in high school, I was telling people if I'm not millionaire by 30, I will jump off a building or something. Like it's just
wow.
I was already like, wanting that. But yeah, it's like I'm really obsessed by that, by being able to like get free sort of as soon as possible.
1 million is like freedom, and you don't have to play the game
Mm.
anymore, and you can do whatever you want. Is that it?
So I think 1 million is a good start, but the end game is 5 million. Because
Okay.
with 5 million, I think basically if you invest a little bit or something, if you get
Yeah, yeah.
3% return on investment per year, that's 10,000 per month after taxes.
Which is
It's good
and
enough
like
to live.
3% is very conservative, so it's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you can live anywhere. You can live very good. And it means that you don't have to work anymore for money. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
I think this is the quest for freedom that kind of like drove me to exhaustion last time. I was always running away from a job because that was kind of like, because I never had a job for a long time in my life. And I was always running away from it, There's this sticker I made, imagine having a boss again, like this post-it note I had made, that I
Yeah, I
sold
remember.
merch with.
The mug
I
and
will,
stuff.
I will start selling merch again because I need to make money, man. When I had this job, though, it made me realize it felt good for a while to not run away.
I think peaceful, right? You don't have
I
the
slept
fire
very well for
behind
this
you.
time, yeah.
Yeah, I had something similar. So when I started to code, like, so before I was doing, freelancing, I had like clients, I was managing ads for them and stuff. It was online e-commerce. So at the end
Yeah.
of COVID, people went back in physical stores. So the sales went down and stuff, lots of things going on. And the guy was like, okay, I'm going to work with someone else who is cheaper. It's just business,
Yeah.
He found someone who do it cheaper and stuff. On the same week, I lost my ex dumped me. The place I was living kicked me out because they were like stopping long-term rental and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, fuck that. I'm just going to start from scratch. So I'm going to learn to code. And worst case, I will take a job as a developer. I accepted that. I didn't have to do it, but I was like, no matter what happens, I will need 1 year to, get my shit together again at the minimum to start making at least some revenue. And I accepted that for 1 year, it will be learning. So for a short period of time, because it stopped when I started shipping apps, but for a short period of time, I was like, peaceful. I still worked a lot, like taking my course.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was really following the course, but I was like, hey, it's fine. I have 1 year savings. So this year I'm going to learn and stuff like that. And I slept way better. Same as you. It's like I felt peaceful.
Weirdly now, you kind of like made it, like you start to make money with your own business. So you're kind of like free.
The thing is, I did lots of mistakes with e-commerce. And that's, I made like tons of sales, but very little profit. And then I became like a lazy sort of, stopped working on the business and stuff. And the business went down. And I basically, I never got successful in e-commerce because of that. I got some success and then I would relax. Oh, it's all good. I make money. Feels good about yourself and stuff. And I don't want to let that happen again. So
Yeah.
I'm starting to get some success.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, this is where I need to push hard now.
I feel like passive income is such a fucking myth, man. Like, we're like, yeah, we're going to try passive income. And like, it's so active. Like, it's the opposite. It's active income.
Yeah, I mean,
like, it takes so much work to make money without working. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like anything that is not money you earn from your own already existing money is not passive income. There is no such thing. It's like, even if you earn passive income, you earn it by pretty much lending your money to other people. There is no such thing, and especially not with a company. That's the least passive income you can think of. When you have a company, you can never stop because one change in the environment can fuck you up and make you out of business. So that's actually with Talk Notes, I really feel that because like maybe Apple will improve the voice memo app to make Talk Notes,
I'm actually waiting for that. So yeah, I get you.
So it's like, and now it's starting to take off. I just reached 4,000 monthly recurring revenue like yesterday.
Awesome.
And
oh wow, congrats.
And I'm like, man, like, because I want to push it to at least 5,000 or 10, like between 5 and 10,000. That's my goal for.
And then maybe sell it
in Bangkok.
Yeah.
And then sell it. But That's the thing. Like, it makes revenue and stuff like that, so I can hire support to delegate. But how long will it last? I don't think I will be able to rest until I solve it. So it's
And it's funny. I was like way too romantic about my company. And it's maybe because I was building it with my wife. So it was kind of like our baby, like like our little project together. I mean, our big project together. And there was a sense of like, I will never sell it. We're just going to do a business and it's going to be like kind of like a family restaurant or something. That's really how we thought about it. But that led us down a path of like trying to save something that was sinking and like that wasn't working. And we just kept like thinking, yeah, but like it's our family restaurant. We're going to figure it out, like very,
yeah.
too much emotion and attachment to it basically. And I think now, at least if you want to stay indie, you need to plan an exit. Let's say like Talk Notes takes off, like really, like, and you make like 100K a month or something. Well, what's gonna happen is it's gonna attract way more competitors. You're gonna be copied by like big players who's gonna destroy you or like try to. And like, if you want to stay indie and if you want to still enjoy life and you don't want to hire 10 people and you don't want to have to do all this shit, then you're fucked. Because like you're not going to be able to fight, maybe there's like an exception like Peter Levels who's managed, but like that's like an exception, like, and it depends on the market and shit, and some products can do that maybe, but like that's like very, very uncommon. Most of the time what's going to happen is like, if you're just on your own, I mean, you either die or you exit.
I think there is a huge commodization effect. Some products can easily become commodity. Because you said, so Peter Levels. So he has Nomad List. But the thing is, Nomad List, the more the product grows, the more the moat grows because it's a community.
Yeah.
So I think all the community products, it's very hard to commodize it because it's like the product is a community and it's like, snowball. So there are some products that are protected from that, I would say. I think, for example, your Twitter course, it will not become a commodity because you are the reference on Indie Maker Twitter. No one can copy you. And same for me with ads. I launched a course about ads, and I know that no one can copy me because I have 7 years of experience. There are some products that can be made very hard to replicate, but when you do a typical problem-solving app, then you're highly subject to commodization. I would say it's not necessarily, if you want to go indie, you have to plan an exit, but if you want freedom, true freedom, you have to plan an exit. The only way is just to create something valuable enough so you can sell it for a huge amount of cash.
Yeah. So many founders would just want freedom, basically. That's what we're after. It's not money, it's freedom, and it's like, and it's Kevin O'Leary, the guy from Shark Tank, like the guy, like the very ruthless business guy. And he says, entrepreneurs who do it for money, they give up very quickly. But if you do it for freedom, you're always going to keep fighting. Because like, if you just want money, you're just going to get a nice salary. You're going to get a nice job. You can get like very highly paid, engineering job. Like, for example, if you're a dev and you want to make real money, I think within 5 years, if you plan your steps right, you work for like big US companies, you can get to like 200K plus, in a matter of years.
I mean, just do weapon manufacturing or some shit like that, and it's like
you just want money. I like the way you think. I like how like you think outside the box. Yeah, you can just like kill people. I'm just kidding, but like you know what I mean. It's like that's like hustling mentality. But yeah, man, I remember you also told me about how you kind of like lost your fitness, by chasing this freedom and being always like kind of like. Because like I seen pics of you, you seem like you're pretty built. So what happened with that?
Normally, I'm a really like super skinny guy, and at some point, I think I got dumped by a girl, and I don't know why, but I was like, oh, if I get more fit, I will not get dumped again. And so I started going to the gym. Really, like 2 years ago, I really started to get big. I had like decent cardio back then. I was doing bike every day when I was back in France, and even at the gym a little bit, and recently in Bali, we had like a paintball with indie founders.
Okay.
Man, I swear, I played 30 seconds. I ran for 30 seconds. I thought I was going to make a heart attack. I went in like in a bush. I stayed the whole game there. And at the end, people were like, I went, when I was, okay, I have my breath now, the game was over. And everyone was already out. Because my cardio has become so bad.
Yeah.
The thing is, when I started working, like, I think it was September of last year. So this is when I lost my client said, okay, like that's finished. He said, okay, we're going to continue with 2 months, but after that, like we changed, blah, blah, blah. I finished my learn to code. So now it's all about making apps and making money. So it's just how fast I can make apps. The thing is, going to the gym, it's like a strict routine, like for me, because I hate going to the gym when it's packed. So after 7 a.m. it's packed. Like I just don't go because then I have to wait. I lose even more time. And the thing is, because of that, I had like a very strict routine. I was, waking up at like 5:30 or 6 a.m. or something.
Wow.
But I was working late when I was coding because there was always something like a bug, a problem, something. So I finished working at like, sometime like 10 or 11 p.m. Yeah. And then I had to skip the gym.
Yeah,
so I skipped the gym a lot.
Yeah, you don't sleep enough.
Yeah. At first I was like, okay, I'm just going to go 3 times a week instead of every day.
Yeah.
And then I stopped going. And at some point I just didn't go for like 3 months because I had like a food poisoning and I was super weak for a whole month, but then I lost the habit. Basically last year, almost didn't went. There were like some periods I was still trying to go and stuff like that. But yeah, and I think the peak was when I moved to a new place in Bali and there was the only gym around was fully crowded at 6 a.m. So I was like, okay, fuck that. I'm not going to go. And because when you do programming, you just stay, you sit the whole day. Started to gain fat. Man, I had like some fat. Like I was for the first time.
Which you never had before. Yeah, okay.
Never.
Because you're skinny and then,
man, it was so hard to gain weight. Like I was eating like a fucking massive Burger King to bulk, and now not going to the gym, plus, not going like staying seated and stuff like that. I started to gain weight. I had like a worse cardio, like as I said, 30 seconds, and I was just dead. Like and even like health in general. I have like lots of, my back got blocked a lot. I started to have white hairs. I don't know if we can see them. It's still not very obvious, but my girlfriend was like, man, you have white hairs. Let me take them out. And she took some out and it was like a whole thing, because of the, the stress, lack of sleep. So it really impacted my health a lot. And the cardio was like, okay, I need to do something about it. And so I was in Bali. I could not go to the gym because it was too crowded. And in Bangkok, all the apartments, most buildings at least, have a gym indoor, like in the rooftop or something.
And you can go whenever you want, and it's close to where you live, so it's perfect.
Yeah, I still go at 6 a.m. because I like waking up early. But man, I just take the elevator. I do 1 hour gym. There is no one, so that's the main reason why I moved. Actually, it's for health.
Wow,
because although the food in Bali, like it's like it's amazing, and I get like a meal prep. Like I do food deliveries. There are some options in Bali, but I tried like lots of them. They are not that good. But the one here, you have so many options. It's perfect. So
it's funny. Yeah, our stories are pretty similar because I was working out a lot. Like in the first 2 years of my startup, I was doing a lot of weightlifting. I was doing the 5x5, strong lifts kind of thing. I hate going to the gym also. But I had enough room. And since I'm not nomading, I bought basically weights and, plates and everything. So I could do like heavy squats and shit. And it takes a lot, to do this kind of thing. Like it takes like the time for training, but then you have all the food shit because like you need to eat well and you need to sleep well. Because like if you don't, like it's useless, you're not going to make progress,
Yeah.
And so eventually I think I stopped after like, I think really when I realized I need to work hard to make this work, because at first, that's what you said earlier. Like we think it's going to be easy. You're going to be rich because you're so intelligent and shit. You're so smart. Then you realize not. And me, after I think 1.5 years, I realized, okay, shit. Like I have to give myself 150% to even stand a chance. So I did less and less, working out. And then eventually I completely stopped. And I think for like the last 2 years, I didn't do anything. And I was just like working. Because, it's easy after a fact to say, you need to have balance in your life. But like when you're in it, like work is work. Like you feel like, I'm going to work 70 hours if I can. like in a week, like you fucking do it because you're still like gonna make progress, and that's how it seems. And I think it's true. I think it's true that the more you work, you make progress. It's just that the lesson I learned now is that if you need to work this hard for this long, maybe it's the wrong product. You know, if you just want to be sustainable as an indie, like make 5K a month, let's say, uh, I don't think you need to overwork. I think it's like a mistake. Like there's like many other ways to go about it, and like you can have this kind of balance. And it's more like be able to find a different product, find a different source of revenue. Once you're old enough and you have enough experience and you have skills, obviously, like when you're 18, you should work your ass off to get skills. But like once you like you have years of experience in the ads business, I had like many experiences too. So like, I feel like eventually you don't need to kill your health, at least if you want to be kind of like, just like decent lifestyle and shit.
Honestly, right now, if I were to start, a new project again from scratch, like a SaaS or something, I'm pretty sure I could get a couple sales pretty fast because I already have the experience and stuff.
Yeah.
But the hard part is like for beginners, when you start from zero, it's just, there is so much you need to learn. Like the quantity of things you need to learn is the same no matter what. You need to learn those things, copywriting, marketing, like
Coding a
shipping,
bit,
like
yeah.
a bunch of stuff. Yeah. You could just, oh, I'm just going to do that as a side, and that's what lots of people do, but it's really slow. Even me now, I work like crazy. Like there are some weeks, lots of weeks, I work more than 100 hours per week. Like I try a bit less
How do you
now
count that?
to
How do you
sleep.
count that? I don't believe you.
It's so not right now. I think, yeah, not right now, but when during the period where I was, not going to the gym and stuff like that, basically I wake up at maybe 7 a.m. and I go to bed at 10 p.m. And
Okay.
I think that, yeah, around that, maybe not
Yeah.
exactly 100, but it should be close. Let me check how many.
I think
So
my highest was
100.
like 72, and that's when I was close to burnout.
If you work 100 hours per week, that's 14 hours and a half per day.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
like,
definitely something I did.
wow.
So yeah,
Every day. Because
it's
like I could do that 2 days in a row, but then I was too exhausted.
no, for the whole
Wow.
week. It's just I was like there
Holy
were
shit,
some
man.
birds, man. When I was like what I call like cave mode, I just don't think about anything else, man. I don't go to the gym. I don't clean up. I just work.
You
And
sit on the
man,
toilet so you don't even have to move to take a shit. Like it's like everything is set up.
that that pretty much that, yeah. So it's
Okay.
and at the end of that, I remember I had trouble talking with people. My social skills, I was like
You're fucking
not
intense.
brain dead, but
Wow.
it's just, yeah. So it's like,
You were working so many hours, and for now, you haven't made it yet. If you compare this to a job, and that's the pain, that's like the struggle. Like, you would have made the same money, like, with just 1 year at a job, like, chilling, kind of, or like freelancing as like an
yeah,
ad guy. It's like a video game on hard mode. I love the game Doom, and they made a new version in 2016. And in Doom, like, even the original one, they had like all these crazy difficulty levels. If you play the game in normal mode, you can play like any game, any FPS. You can play like Halo, like Call of Duty. But like if you play nightmare mode, you have to be running away all the time. You cannot stop moving, else enemies will hit you instantly. My brain had to completely change, and it took me about 100 hours to complete it instead of like
oh
20.
damn,
When you're indie, it's like we remove every assist, we remove every helper. It feels like now it's real. You don't have like somebody making you believe that you got it. You don't have someone, yeah, it's fine. You're doing good, but you're not. But you don't know, but you think you're good, but you're not.
yeah. It's pretty much like what you see is what you get. Like if you don't see the sales on the Stripe dashboard, then you suck. That's just how it is. That's why it's roller coaster, because when you're doing good, it's all on you. It's you made stuff that
And that is
succeeded. You are
yeah.
good. You get so much peak and low. It's actually like hard to manage sometimes, because one day you're like the top of the world, you made the money and stuff, and the next day, like you don't make any sales, you don't understand why, you just you feel like you fucking sucks.
Gonna make me bridge to like the topic of love, which is the last topic I wanted to talk to you about. And right now, I'm single again, and I had been 12 years with the same, woman. Between I was 21 and 34, I was with her. And
Yeah.
that gives you such a certainty in kind of like feeling like somebody loves you and you have kind of like a family and shit. And so I'm divorcing her now, and like I'm alone for like a couple months, and it's brutal. And sometimes it feels so lonely and it feels so scary. You have rejection in your face all the time. And I feel like it's the same. Like you're facing reality.
I think there are lots of things in common between, like relationships, love and stuff, and entrepreneurship. Because you need to get used to failure, basically, to rejection at least. So it's like, in a relationship, it's like, oh, okay, you ask on a date and she said no or something. Or in business, it's like, okay, you try your best, it doesn't work. That's it. Managing the low and the high is a really good skill to have. I think that's, I learned that by, reading, Stoicism. And that's still something I need to work out, because when there is a high, I'm like super happy and stuff. And if you are super happy when you get sales and stuff, you will get super depressed when you don't.
It's because you have an illusion in your head. You think it's going to save you. Oh, if she wants to see me, oh, if we have sex, like if you're a man, it's always that. So, oh, if we have sex, like everything's going to be perfect, like this kind of shit. But this is an illusion. Like this is like, you think it's going to take you to like this ultimate place of freedom and happiness. And it's just like making sales. Like you're going to get, oh, wow, I made like 1,000 in sales in like 2 hours or like 1 day. And like my life is complete now. And then like, a couple hours later, you realize, you have, I don't know, post-nut clarity or something. Now? And then you realize,
what now?
oh no, my life is the same,
Mm-hmm.
And and the problem is when you get the high, you can make mistakes. Because now, you're high on like the success, whether it's with a woman or like with your company or whatever. And maybe you get cocky, you get too confident, and you start making stupid moves. Or maybe you just stop doing the things that brought you here in the first place. With women, it's so common. Like you play it cool, like she's interested in you, and then she gives you some attention, and you like start like being like losing your shit and like losing your purpose and your clarity, and you go all about her, and then she loses interest. And I feel like it's the same,
It's story of my life. I mentioned before, with e-commerce, I got some success, and I stopped working. I was like, wow, I'm the top of the world. I'm in Bali. I have a massive villa. I was dating a lot back then, which was new for me. So I had all this dopamine. I was like, because in both cases, when you make sales, when you date, you get validated. It's like,
exactly,
wow, I'm good. Like, so you get this validation. And as you said, if you stop doing what brought you here in the first place, then it's all going to leave. You need to learn to sort of detach yourself. It's like, oh, okay, this is good, but let's not make stupid moves and stuff like that. Let's not get carried on. My relationship with my girlfriend now, when we started, I had like still some time. I still had the client and stuff. And, we spent lots of time together. We went on cool dates and stuff. And then suddenly I lost my my income. So I was like, okay, fuck that. Now I have 1 year savings. So I need to really try out.
Did this impact your relationship?
Yeah, 100%. And because that was also when I was at the peak of my physical shape. So basically, she got me at the peak, and then everything after, was not shit, but like, it's just, my mind was not here, and it's still not here until
So you basically stopped giving her attention, you stopped being present, and you started looking like shit. If I'm trying to kind of like sum it up.
Yeah, like looking. It took some time, especially for the physical part, but pretty much. I was lucky because she had to leave back to the US for, some time. So we did long distance. But I think if she was here, we would have broken up, because I was just too in. I could not, go on dates every week and stuff like that. It's just not possible. It's not compatible. At some point I was like, look, I need to get my shit together. It's going to take me at least 1 year, so we should just stop. And she was like, no, it's okay, don't worry. I understand, blah, blah. But even if she say, I understand, it's like she still expect, normal couple things, talking and stuff like that. But my mind is not here. It's just not here. I cannot do two things at the same time.
I'm a big fan of David Data, and he talks about feminine energy and masculine energy. And basically, most men have mostly masculine energy. Most women have mostly feminine energy. You can have, both there. So it's not about saying men are this way and women are this way, but like usually that's how it is. When you have a lot of masculine energy, so like you, for example, you cannot do two things at once. Like your attention is about focus. And people with more feminine energy, so usually probably your girlfriend, they can do two things at once, or like three or five. And I had this with my ex. It's like they don't really get it because for them it's normal. You can still work and talk to me. And we're like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I fucking can't because
Yeah.
as soon as I talk to you, I lose like half an hour to get back to my focus.
In my opinion, it's very hard, especially when, again, you need to bridge the gap between what you are right now and what
Yeah.
you need to become to be successful as an entrepreneur. Like once you got things figured out, you can take more time and stuff like that. But it's just, yeah, it's really, really hard. It's really fucking hard. My plan was to do all the big work before, so all the programming and stuff like that before she come.
Yeah.
And when she come, just do like a bit of SEO and stuff. It doesn't work like that. Even when I'm not working, my mind is still in there.
You're building your kind of like empire or something. And so you need to be focused, and that's your priority and that's your purpose.
I think no one can really understand what is it to be like in the trenches, like it's just, I don't think anyone who didn't do it can understand. It's totally different. Like your mind is just, it's in there. There is nothing else.
That's one of the reasons I ended up divorcing my ex after all this time, is I realized basically if you really want a really awesome relationship, at least give it attention 1 or 2 hours a day. Like it's like really something you gotta do. You gotta think about it. Like when she needs you, you gotta be there, and it's normal, it makes sense, I'm not saying, but like eventually I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Like that's so selfish, I feel, like, especially after all this time together. But I was like, you know what? I want to build my own shit. I want to travel. I want to be free of everything. And I feel like I need that if I can, accomplish something with my life. Yeah, do the things that I want to do. I feel like now everybody wants to be in a relationship. Like we all want to be like, and I used to be like that when I was younger. I was like, I wanted a girlfriend. I didn't see my life without like a girlfriend or anything. I didn't imagine it. Now I'm like, it can be good also to be like, yeah, I'm going to be alone. Like it's so challenging, as I said earlier, because then, like you feel like the loneliness and you feel like the rejection all the time, like, and the highs and lows. But I feel like this is a way to grow, man. Like this is like how you can really grow. I feel like I'm growing so much. Like, it's crazy. Sometimes I think I'm something and I'm like, oh yeah, that was like 1 year ago. And that was actually like 2 months ago. It's like I'm like so always kind of like burning in like the growth and the challenge of life, of being alone and being indie now again. It should be kind of like okay that we have that, for like a time in our life.
My ex, I separated with her before I left. And the moment I left, man, it's insane. I grew like crazy. Like so many things. Like I never traveled. I was like, okay, I'm just going to go to a random country alone. Paf. I went to Mexico, like just like that. And I tried many things that were scaring me. Like I was doing panic attack in the sea. Like, I hate not seeing what's under me. So I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to take my diving license directly, and like, I don't know why. It's just, I would never have been able to do that if I stayed with her. Long distance relationship is actually a good compromise because she's in the US. So it's just, there is like 1 hour or 2 hours per day where we can text.
She lives in the perfect place where like she can only annoy me for 1 hour a day. No, I'm kidding, but like, and that's kind of like that's kind of like
because if she send a text, like I want to reply, it's, and but I also cannot get distracted by text every like 20 minutes. Otherwise, I just don't work. It's just I don't work at all. She's an amazing person, so I really want to, to keep going, but I don't know if that's going to work at the end because of my focus and stuff. It works for me. For her, I think it's shit.
I really think it's shit. Okay. Oh shit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's like she's really understanding, but that's the reason why I wanted to break up. Because like a friend of mine did that. He just broke up with his ex, and now he's focusing on business, and now business is taking off.
there's like a lot of bridges in this kind of like adventure. And it's funny, every time I talk to a guy who is like in the indie community, who is around my age, he tell me, oh yeah, I used to do pickup and like PUA when I was younger, all these things to how to date and how to get laid and shit. And I feel like there's so many bridges in like building your own shit and women.
Man, it's like literally I applied the same process for dating than entrepreneurship. Like literally, so I never really dated, always, socially like awkward and stuff. So for me, I didn't know how to do a date.
Yeah.
So I picked up a book, like how to date and stuff like that. I read lots of stuff. Like if I was learning a new skill for my company, it's like, okay, I need to learn these skills, those social skills. And yeah, I just pick a book and now I'm like, okay, now I need to practice. And I think, man, I went into like from 0 date per year because I was not dating after my ex. Every week I had a new date because I wanted to, to improve my process.
And kind of like
exactly. Yeah.
Passive income dating or something. Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's that work. Like it's the same as making a business. Like I made 17 apps in a year. That's funny. I think that no, I'm not sure if I did 17 days. I don't know, but
that's so funny.
Quite a lot. But I did a lot, and now I can ship any app I want. I did lots of date. Now I'm very comfortable dating. I know how it works. I know the social code.
If you need a girlfriend, you can find one. Basically, now, kind of like if you need to make money, you can make money. So that's like that's interesting.
But I think money is still a bit harder. Like no matter
it's because you don't put the picture
you
with your fat and your belly.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm shitting you. Yeah. So iterate, learn, and keep getting better. Yeah, I've never used an app because Tinder didn't exist when I meet my ex. That's how long ago it was. And so I feel like as soon as I start this game, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to play the algorithm game. I'm going to try to win. Once you have this kind of game, you want to win. Especially now that dating is depending on apps as well. So like it's digital now. So like you can apply the same principles because it's like all digital.
Look, I did my Tinder profile back then was optimized for conversion rate. Try a normal profile and then optimize it. Man, I swear the difference is insane.
Yeah, I bet. Especially since most men, they don't do that. So like, it's like you stand out. Yeah. You stand out so much.
And it's always the same opening line and stuff. So I played that on my copy, like my description. I was like, but are you sure you really want to, swipe right and match with Kevin and say, hey, how are you doing? Or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
okay. Empathize with the pain. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I optimized like that, and man, it's just a massive difference. It was so funny back then. I think when I started, I made like slides with like testimonial sort of like it was like fake, but like such an inspiring guy like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. Yeah, you make fun of that. The one I'm doing now is basically all testimonials of women who I had sex with. That's like my ID for a Tinder. Like that's my ID for my profile. It's like, oh wow, he was so sweet. Like or like with like the name of the girl. And I even have my ex in there. Like he's probably gonna get mad, but like, and I also had FOMO. Like I'm only in town until like this time, even though it's fake, But like, all the same shit. Like I haven't launched it yet, but like I think in a couple of months I will. But yeah, so funny. I'm DMing a couple women and I'm using memes. I'm using so many memes. I'm creating so many memes to kind of like, ramp up the tension. And and I literally spend the weekend creating memes for this girl I'm seeing. Cause like we basically went on a date and I fucked it up. I came off way too strong, I was way too horny and shit. And so that was like a big turn off for her. And she like kind of like told me, but then I made memes making fun of myself, and I sent her. And I was so awesome to kind of like diffuse the situation, make her see I really gave a shit. And I'm actually thinking of an app for like using memes in dating apps, but like, I don't know how I can make that, but because like memes give you like a level of emotion that you don't have with text when you DM. Maybe I'll do how to dominate Tinder. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I was going to suggest it. Like,
yeah. That would be funny. Fun. But
you have the bonus like memes and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think we covered it, man. That was so awesome getting you on the show. I mean, I really love talking about all of these topics with you. I hope people appreciate it, when they listen to it.
Like, that's why I think lots of people, they try, they give up, they become super depressed. And the thing is, again, like, they don't realize, but that happened to even like to me, to everyone, like to the best and stuff. That, like, I think I told you that by DM. There was a day after I launched Talk Notes, so the sales went whoosh, and then it went very slow. I was so fucking depressed. I spent like a day. I was a fucking vegetable. I think this day I spent 1 hour in my shower, just like that, laying
Oh,
down
wow.
with the
Okay.
water,
Yeah.
and like I could barely move, man. I could barely move, and that kind of day happens. So it's like, you just don't give up because it feels like shit. It's just,
It's normal that it
yeah,
feels like shit, basically.
it will. And if it doesn't, it means you're probably not trying hard enough.
Like, it's just life. Life just gonna hit. Like, some
Yeah.
days it rains, some days it's sunny. Like, it's just life. And maybe you're not
Yeah,
connected to the
so
real thing if it's not happening.
if you just, you're just posting on Twitter, you have a side job and stuff like that, and you don't feel like crap, like, oh, maybe one day I will launch one day, blah, blah, blah. But you don't do anything that might cause you this pain, So
Yeah, you're not challenging yourself or something. Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
So
And
I know
kind
I
of
can,
like getting used to, I mean, accepting feeling like shit, like accepting this pain. And doesn't mean like
yeah.
not fighting it, but it means like accepting that it's there and being okay with this feeling, and then being able to act, and not get not collapse, but not become cocky when you succeed. Kind of like Stoicism that you talked about. Yeah.
Man, I think everyone should read Stoicism.
Yeah. Do you have a book you recommend about that for people?
Oh yeah, 100%. I read it this morning. It's called The Daily Stoic. So it's like one chapter every day. It's like one page. You read one page every day, and each page has like a lesson or sort of.
Oh, nice.
It's really easy to read. It's based on like the ancient writings from the Greek philosopher and stuff, but interpreted by a guy like from today, like modern day. So you have like one little paragraph, very short, about what they said back then and how to interpret it. It's just,
cool.
It's amazing. Like The Daily Stoic, it's fucking amazing.
Awesome. So where can people find you? Like, if you want to know more, like, I bet on Twitter or something, or X?
Obviously on Twitter, Nico Ginen. And I have my blog, ginen.com, where I post lots of stuff. And actually, like, I would recommend checking my article, like, called So You Suck, Now What? I will, maybe if you can put the link, because that's really one article I really think is useful. So,
I'm going to put the link.
But yeah, basically Twitter. I might give a shot to YouTube soon. So same YouTube, Nico Ginen. I have like a very old channel from when I started entrepreneurship that was in French. So it's like a young me, like a skinny, no beard. And so yeah, but I will try to maybe make a new video if I can find some time.
Awesome, man. So before we wrap up, I just want to mention to people that I opened the Indie hotline. If you go to indielifepod.com to like share what you're going through, like the pains, like we talked about, love life, personal life, struggles, whatever it is. And then, I'm going to pick a couple a week, like depending on how many submissions I get, and put them on the show and react to it, because I think it can be really interesting. It's even possible to do it anonymously, because I have a friend who's like going through a lot of shit, but like she can't talk about it because she's selling her business. So she might do it anonymously. So if you're going through shit with your business and you want to talk about it, you can do that. That's all for me, man. That was so cool to have you. So, thanks again.
Thanks for inviting me. It was really nice talking about all that with you.
Awesome, man. Cheers.
Cheers.